Incredible morning. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? All right, this is going to be a good one, but let me share first because I want to go live on TikTok. I'm enjoying the live on TikTok. I can't make a regular TikTok to save my life, but these lives are, they're giving. So let's do this so that I can share on TikTok. And we're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about some things that could potentially help your business and maybe, you know, even if you're not at the stage of sending out like promotion emails and you don't have like email marketing, even just in your communication on Facebook or how you text someone and things like that, you read between the lines of this message, you'll get something out of it. So I still don't have the notification, which is probably why I don't see much on here. Facebook is really slow. Facebook and YouTube are really slow with pushing content right now. How y'all doing? As you come in, drop a hey, how you doing? Oh my God, seriously. Right as I get started, my light starts to act crazy. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It was fine all this time. It's just been sitting on. And now that I'm actually live, it wants to act cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. All right. I think something's wrong with this. Like, it's not supposed to get overheated like this. So I think something is, I could probably have to do a warranty claim on it. I think there's something wrong with my ring light. Oh, we're going to do yet another video where like, it's just this camera. I can probably change it out for this one. It's just that this Logitech Brio requires a lot of light to balance it out. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead. It's up. Let's go ahead and share this out. Yep, my bad. For that time, I did forget to turn it back on. But again, hello everyone. I am Shakia of HS Inc. 365 LLC. We are the parent company of Soloholics Anonymous and Honestly Speaking and 365 Creative Academy, where we help you to unlock your creativity. And we host classes and I do free lives where I'm just talking about business in general, talking about designing and things like that. So today we are going to discuss how you promote to potential leads, right? I have said a couple of times where everything that I do now, like now that I'm like fully into business, almost everything that I do and when I'm like just in my everyday life, I'm always looking at things from a business standpoint. Always looking at things and trying to see like if it's something that could potentially help my business. Is it something like is it a teaching moment for me to where I'm like, "Ooh, I don't want to operate that way." But everything around me, I'm always trying to apply like a business mindset to it. So at first, I was like, okay, I'm going to leave it alone. I'll transparent moment. Having a bit of a trigger moment today, but and I really thought about, okay, maybe I need to take a break from social media, like just the internet in general. Having like major triggers, like little things or like just like cringe. And even with this correspondence, I'm like, am I reading too much into it? But then I had to realize this was unsolicited. And I don't even know how they came about getting my email address to email me unless it was like from like a live video or something that I did, or like maybe they're doing like their research part, they're doing their market research and seeing who's using certain platforms. But I got this email from a company where I've never gone to seek their services. I have no idea who they are. And I got this email. I can see if it was a little bit different to where maybe I went on their site, I signed up for their list and I'm getting it. Or maybe I saw their content somewhere, I interacted with it. I mean, I just, again, if it was solicited, the fact that it was unsolicited and the way that it is worded turned me off completely. They have an amazing service, but the manner in which they communicated with a potential lead at this point, I don't give two monkeys butts about their business, and I probably will be missing out. They probably will change my world and how my courses business runs. For me, in how they wrote it, I want nothing to do with them, right? And I could have stayed in my feelings. Like I said, I told y'all, I've been having little triggers all morning long with making me kind of like in a negative space, which where I really truly don't like to be in. But I did yield control to like others people's words, making me feel a certain type of way, which we're human, right? That happens to all of us. So I thought about like not addressing it, but then I'm like, man, this is actually a really important lesson for all of my creative entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs in general. As you're trying to build and grow your business, you're trying to get leads. As I thought about it, even with the whole lead thing, certain things people call like lead magnets and stuff like that. I find that a lot of people, as far as like who I communicate with and who I resonate with and who I teach, who have access to me, who are in this creative entrepreneurial space, whether you're making jewelry or you're making resin art, you're making paper crafts, you're making party decor, you're making t-shirts, you're making tumblers, keychains, or whatever. Most people really do lead magnets. You're not trying to really bring in leads. It's like you just expect people to know who you are. Like you're not doing the work to really promote. The majority, like some people are doing things and they're creating different leads and they're communicating with people. So I thought about that. One, does my audience know about lead magnets? Like, is that something that we need to really get potential leads? Like, not every lead is going to lead to a sale, but the more leads you have and people who become aware about your business, your brand, your product, your service, the more people that know, if you can just get a small portion of them to actually buy into it, you can meet your numbers, right? That's for a whole nother day. But how do we communicate with our audiences? We often hear people talk about finding your niche, knowing your customer avatar. And I had a conversation or a quick little interaction with someone who, we kind of talked she does helps me out. And so she was, saying something about customer avatar. And I was like, oh, look, it all comes to. And so I hope you're watching. I hope you don't mind because I'm not going to say any names, but she realized that somebody that she interacts with was not her ideal customer. It wasn't her customer avatar. And she shared that and thought maybe like the person felt some type of way with saying that you're not my ideal customer. And it is okay to express that. And it is okay to understand that you can have a specific type of customer and not everybody fits into that box. I've seen companies on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, YouTube. I've gotten text messages. I was in a class one day and I was talking about a text message that I got from a particular company that does like edge control. And it was like, hey, big head. Excuse me, who I'm talking to? I'm grown. And then it was another one, and it was said something about, I know you're tired of those crusty edges or something like that. And I'm like, people respond to this mess, but they really do because their target audience might be kids or to be honest, okay, look, transparent moment, all this millennial, Gen X, Gen Z, all baby boomers. Look, I don't know what starts because I really don't care about that part of it, but whoever these young folk are who like their whole life is social media, they talk like they text like in shorthand, and all of the, period, please, period, those type, that generation, I think they like when people talk to them that kind of way. I've come across people to where they talk down to people to make it seem like, well, you need me because you're ignorant. I'm gonna use that word instead of another word I want to use, and you don't know any better. Like I have the answers, and they will literally talk down to people, and I'm just completely in like shock and awe. How do you have a successful business talking to people like that? But certain people respond to it and they will continue to do it because even though there might be other people looking at you and like looking at this interaction, and because they are never going to purchase your product, they'll never be your customer. They're looking at this interaction and they're, how in the heck you gonna talk to somebody like that? Like, and people buying your products, people using your services, people are actually spending money with you, and you talking to people like that. And as for as many of us that may look that way, there's, oh yeah, talk to me crazy. Like, yes, like they feel like that's accountability, like you should tough love, and they respond to that. So that's going to be your target audience, the people who respond to what others may deem as foolishness. So I got this email and I was like, you know what? They're going to find somebody where this resonates with them and they're going to click on the link and they're going to go. But Shaquille Lavelle Pericles ain't the one. So it reads like, and you know how when you get an email and you get like the preview part of it, right? It says Silaholics Anonymous. I'm a little confused. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. So I was intrigued and I clicked on the email because I'm like, it says I'm so confused. I'm like, wait a minute. It was something else on there. And I'm like, okay, wait, did I like, because they put Silaholics Anonymous, right? I'm like, damn it, did I can they not find something on my website? Or I'm thinking it's like one of my customers. So that's what really, really made me click on it, right? So then the next line says, hello, Silaholics Anonymous. I am reaching out to you in person to understand why you love Thinkific so much and are ready to pay $1,049 more than XYZ every year. Excuse me. I only read the rest of it for talking point purposes for this live, but I was done. When I tell you I was done after just that, first to get that, I'm a little confused. Why you like them so much? Like you can save money over here. Okay, that might be true. You might have a greater platform, but I'm grown. I'm not no little whatever is millennial. I'm not the one that you can talk crazy to type generation. I'm not that, you know, um I mean it's not very much different, but see, I grew up on Foxy Brown and look the old Lil Kim and Trina. I girl lotto generation, like because some of the stuff that I'm like, I know it's probably the same, but I'm a different type of person. Like I'm not the city girl, real bad type. Although it's funny, that's just not how I communicate. So when I said, I'm like, people really respond to this. Your first line to me, I'm a little confused. Why you? Because I do. I didn't ask for your I didn't ask to know who you are. I can see if I was somehow on your mailing list. I looked up your services. I don't even know who this company is, which means they did research and they're looking at people who are using these sites, or maybe they've seen like my videos and I talk about using Thinkific, because the fact that you Alcoholics Anonymous, like all of my stuff, like I say my name all the time. You could, I've had people go and they're wanting like for me to do business with them or sponsorship, and they will actually put, "Hey, professor." And I'm like, I think that's kind of like really dope, because that means like you're really watching and you're not just going off of like my business name or like a "to whom it may concern" or "to the owner of blah, 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 blah." I think that's pretty cool. But it's like you put Alcoholics Anonymous. So my website, my Thinkific site doesn't even say Alcoholics Anonymous. It says 365 Creative Academy. So I was a little thrown off about that. So it's unsolicited. You really didn't pay attention to my website because that's not the name that's on there. And then you're going to tell me you are a little confused about the decision that I made because you're trying to get me to take your services. It's about how you communicate. I mean, I'm someone, yeah. I mean, it is kind of like a whole, when you look at it, I could be paying more. I'm paying they're saying I could be paying $1,000 more per year just by staying with Thinkific versus going to their company. I mean, that could be that's a nice little savings or whatever. But you threw me off. The message is sometimes we have to know who we're talking to, because your communication and how you speak, if you're just throwing it out there in general to people and you are treating all of your leads like, through all of your lead magnets the same way, and you are communicating with them the same way, you could be losing. And let's say the majority of your audience are people who this type of talk, this type of communication does not resonate with, you're losing potential clients and potential customers and potential sales. If that is how, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong in how you choose to communicate, but to make sure that in however you communicate, that you're communicating that's going to respond to that. Because the rest of us gonna look at you like you're crazy and we're gonna bypass you. We're just gonna go ahead and hit unsubscribe and block you. But so just be mindful of how you communicate. Even had a conversation with someone yesterday, and I got a little bit of understanding of their thought process, how they are as a person, and what their brand was for. And so I told a particular person, I was like, well, that's all well and good. If that's the beliefs of this company and that's what it was set on, fine, so be it. There's no right. It is how you choose to run your company. But you can't then go and just put out content to everybody and you're trying to figure out, well, why is it not converting? Why am I not getting conversions on my leads, on my communications, on my posts? Because you're out there to this particular audience, but it's meant for this audience. And over here, and it's getting to this audience more, and they're not responding because you're not properly trying to target this audience, which is who is truly your. You're thinking that you can just cast a big net and just catch a bunch of fish. But for a successful business, You have to learn to really understand who your avatar is and then communicate with them. If you go and, like, let's say you are versatile, you have to learn how to speak certain people's language. I will put out basically the same post and I will write it different ways because people respond to stuff differently. As I was talking about my SVG course or talking about the essentials, like some people, they responded when it's the same exact course, same information, but I made a post where I just highlighted about tracing. Oh, yep, I need this, right? And then somebody else, I made another post, same exact course. I highlighted edit points. Oh man, that's where I'm struggling at. Like, I'm speaking their language. It's still the same course. If I went and I made all of my content just about Essential Facility Studio in general, yes, it's great. It's very beneficial. I know the value of it. But if I'm talking about it in general, it may not resonate with someone. But now when I'm speaking their language, like, man, you're struggling with tracing, you can't figure this out, this is going to be the perfect course for you. Now, true enough, it's only 2 days. It's not like this is a whole course of just tracing. That's 2 days in there. But to get what you need, you're going to need the whole thing, and you're going to find out there's much more that you need in here. So every time I put it out, it was, I would get certain people from the post about tracing, certain people about edit points. Oh, you're struggling with compound pass? Oh man, like that's the one right there. Like, I don't understand these things. Oh, you can help me? They resonated with that. We have to learn how to communicate. You can run sales and stuff like that. You're not talking to the person. Like, let's say what you have right now, back to school, there was a really big trend of like the learning boards and like all that stuff or whatever, right? Everyone, it was like a big trend. Everyone's making like they were making the tables and they were making the learning pillows. And then some people were making like the trifold. I'm like, it was going to come to me in 2 seconds. It was the trifold, right? We're about to go back to school. That is probably something that's going to be really like great for people. Amazon Prime Day, I'm not interested in most of these like electronics and stuff. Like, we already have it. I'm not in the market for any of those things. The first thing I went to Amazon Prime and they had all this stuff, education and learning for MJ, and MJ's going to middle school. Imani's about to go to like pre-K, like at a real school. So I'm like, okay, how do I prepare them for middle school and pre-K? Like, what's about to come up? Okay, and can I get a deal on, some help them when it comes to, their education? So as like, that's the first thing I went there to look for. So let's say, okay, we're going back to school. You can have these most like amazing things. Like, if you're going to get back into the trend of the learning pillows and the learning trifold boards or like the learning table and stuff like that, I've seen some people mix things like the days of the week and multiplication. Who this for? Because if this child is learning the days of the week, baby, they don't need no full 10 times tables and 20 times tables, like table on this board. Like, let's keep it age appropriate and maybe do like or number. I mean, even days of the week might be too much for someone where it's like, okay, let's just identify colors. Let's identify maybe they don't need the days of the week and understanding summer, winter, fall, like, because that's not their age group. So I used to side-eye some of these learning pillows and learning tables. I'm like, well, why are we putting everything from kindergarten to 5th grade on one, when the smart thing would be every grading, like every grade, they're learning different things. So why not learn to market, and you're doing it the right way to where, okay, like just like we got MJ the poster boards and stuff like before. We're gonna have to change that out because they have new curriculum. And I'm gonna go probably to the same company that got them before. But that's how you create repeat. Instead of just making this blank, this random stuff, you probably have customers like me. It's a great product. It looks amazing. But as a parent, I'm looking at this and like, okay, I can't trust what you're selling because you have a mixture of preschool, pre-K, mixed in with some stuff that's for a third or fourth grader. Like this is not going at 4 years old. I'm not trying to teach Zani Mani at this. I mean, some people do, don't get me wrong. Some people do try to do that like early, because you have kids that are early readers and they have like different comprehensions. But like for me, I'm not really worried about teaching Zani Mani at this, like when he was like 3 years old, about the days of the week, like learning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and like in the order that they go in, like not at that point. So if someone was marketing it to me, it's the only person I see, and you have this, I'm like, okay, yeah, this part is cool, but can I get something else like over here? Because this is not what my 3-year-old needs. But if you start to like look into it, people say, what's market research? Market research is not just looking at another company, figuring out what they're doing, how much they're selling something for. What is the market you're trying to get into? So if you want to make learning guides, whether it's a pillow, a board, a table, a part of the things, a part of your market research is look at the area that you're in. Every state, every school district has different benchmarks for different. My sister teaches science here. She's about to go teach science in a different state. And at 6th grade at that school, they're teaching biology, where here biology doesn't start to a totally, like it's a way higher grade. So it's different in Georgia than here. You have to do that research to find out what is the benchmark. So if you're wanting to, what are they teaching in preschool or elementary school? Find out about sight words, because that's something that's really, really big. So what's the top, maybe part of the pillow is what's like the top 10 sight words, like the first sight words they teach, and they can have there. Your research is researching the product that you want to sell. Create things that's just for pre-K. Creating the things that like they're going to teach in school for a first grader, for a second grader. And now you are creating something to where that pillow that they got last year is outdated, or they have is outdated. Well, I now need a new one for what my child is learning now. That's how you create repeat customers, is when you are truly doing your research and you are talking to them and you are resonating with them and you are speaking their language on what they need. All right. So, someone says, ask a teacher for help with age grade appropriate skills. You can do that, but you can actually, like every state, as far as like what their benchmarks are, like you can easily look that up and know what the benchmarks are for each grade level. But if you're able to, and some teachers don't know every single grade level, like all you can do is like, then you have to like talk to a bunch of different teachers. But that is a part, like that's a good part of market research, is talking to other teachers, other aides, or even if you don't talk to a teacher, maybe with, you have a third grade that's going into fourth grade. Maybe your neighbor has a fourth grade. Okay, well, what did they go through? Like, what were they teaching? Like, when it comes to science, were they talking about like just the like, let's say the parts of a flower? When do they start teaching about body parts to where you can go and like do all, like, different things like that? So you can ask teachers, you can ask ask your kids. We throw stuff out when our kids bring stuff home. But now that you are a creative entrepreneur, and if that's the part, like that's one of the things you want to do, you have the perfect material at your fingertips, because when your kids are bringing these things home, you can look at that and you can build off of that. Like I said, I'm at a point to where everything I do, I look at it from a business standpoint, even the crazy stuff my kids bring home, because now I know, like if I'm trying to now market to, let's say I create something and I want to market to where it'll help preschoolers, or it'll help preschool teachers, it'll help first grade teachers. But if I don't know what they need, if I'm not doing that market research, I'm going to give them, oh, that's not really benefit me because we're not doing X, Y, and Z. Market research is so much more than just scoping out other businesses. You have, and the market and the talking to, and how to speak to them, how to speak their language, and how to resonate with them to where they're going to be inclined to check out your services, products, versus looking at it with the side eye like I did this email. So hopefully, my lives are never saved on TikTok, but you can always go over to 365 Creative Academy on YouTube, 365 Creative Academy, and you'll find the playback there. Okay. But hopefully that helps. Like I said, they're used to it, unfortunately. Fashion Nova has it bad. Oh, yeah. Their communication is real. Like, I've looked at some of their stuff and I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of crazy. But hopefully this little tidbit does help. I'm right at my 30-minute mark. Didn't want it to be too long. But hopefully you guys got something from it. If you did, let me know real quick. Still on real quick. If you guys got something from it, drop a heart or just say thank you, Professor. Because it was just something that was just, I was just thinking about. I was actually about to take a break because I told y'all, if you were in the beginning, like today was a day where every little thing like people were saying to me was like a trigger. And I was like feeling some type of way. And I felt like I was going into a negative like energy. And I'm like, okay, no, we got to break this. So ooh, something. It flew in my eye. Good morning, Miss Shep. Thank you guys so much for the likes over on TikTok. I'm going to end up doing one of my 7-day challenges or like my 7-day like flash classes or speed classes or crash course. There we go. Is going to be a little bit on like business type stuff. So you guys will be able to do that. Like, especially if you're not able to enroll in my full program, you'll be able to take advantage when I do like the 7-day challenge. So all right, y'all. Thank you guys so very much. Hopefully this was helpful for the spirit and the soul and for your business. I'm sorry, I'm picking at my eye, but I can't see. It's something in there. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible.